Welcome to the Daily Current Affairs by Civic Center IAS, where we will discuss the important articles from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB from the UPSC CSE Prelims perspective. The first article here says that the Ministry of Tourism, through its central sector schemes of Swadesh Darshan and Pilgrimage Rejuvenation and Spiritual Heritage Augmentation Drive, extends financial assistance to the state government or the UT administrations for the development of Buddhist tourism. In this context, we will talk about the Swadesh Darshan scheme. See, launched by the Ministry of Tourism in 2015, the Swadesh Darshan scheme aims to develop a tourism infrastructure and promote various destinations across India. So, know that a total of 76 projects have been sanctioned under the scheme till date. And the Ministry of Tourism has conducted a detailed review of the scheme and identified key areas for the improvement to enhance its effectiveness. Now, if you have to talk about the revamped Swadesh Darshan 2.0, see, the main focus of it is on Vocal for Local and Atmanirbhar Bharat. See, this revamped Swadesh Darshan aims to evolve scheme into a holistic mission. So, it aims to focus on sustainable and responsible tourism while ensuring economic, social and environmental benefits for local communities. See, the vision is to develop sustainable and responsible tourism destinations across India, contributing to the overall growth of the tourism sector. Whereas the mission is to create a robust framework for integrated development, focusing on partnerships with state or union territories and local governments, thereby promoting sustainable tourism practices. Now, what are the different objectives of the Swadesh Darshan 2.0? Firstly, to enhance the tourism's contribution to local communities by boosting the local impact of tourism by increasing local involvement and business opportunity. Secondly, focusing on creating jobs, particularly in local communities and through the tourism related activities. Thirdly, empowering the local youth by providing them with training in hospitality and tourism services. Then, encouraging the private sector participation to bring in investments for tourism infrastructure and services. Lastly, focusing on conserving India's rich cultural heritage and natural resources, ensuring they remain viable for the future generations. The second article here is from the PIB and talks about the National Quantum Mission. See, the National Quantum Mission is a major initiative by Government of India, launched with the objective of positioning India as a global leader in quantum technology research and development. So it was approved on April 19th of 2023. It spans from 2023-24 to 2030-2031 with a total budget allocation of 6,003.65 crores. Now, what is this quantum computing? See, the quantum computing leverages qubits that exist in multiple states simultaneously, unlike the regular bits, which are either 0 or 1. So, this enables the quantum computers to process information much faster than the traditional computers. So, the National Quantum Mission aims to advance quantum computing capabilities and harnessing the potential of quantum technologies to drive innovation, secure communication, and boost various industries in India. Now, talking about different objectives, firstly, to develop intermediate scale quantum computers with various qubit capacities over next 8 years. Next, satellite-based quantum communication to implement quantum secured communication over long distances within India and extend to international communication. Thirdly, to establish secure data transmission over long distances using quantum encryption technologies. Fourthly, to develop scalable quantum communication networks with multiple nodes, quantum memories, and repeaters. Then to design quantum devices like high-sensitive magnetometers, gravity sensors, and atomic clocks for precision measurement and navigation. And lastly, to research and develop next-generation quantum materials for various quantum devices and applications in computing and communication. Now, talking about the key implementation strategy, we have established something called as the thematic hubs or the T hubs in IISc Bengaluru, IIT Madras, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi. And furthermore, these hubs focus on quantum computing, quantum communication, quantum sensing, and quantum materials. Furthermore, we have following something called as the hub-spoke spike model, which fosters collaboration between central hubs, research projects, and individual groups promoting innovation and research sharing across the institutions. The third article of the day says that the annual rate of inflation based on All India Wholesale Price Index number is 2.38% for the month of February 2025. So in this context, we'll talk about the wholesale price inflation or the index. See, the wholesale price inflation measures the average change in the wholesale market, average change in the price of goods in the wholesale market before they reach the consumer. So it tracks the price variations at the producer level rather than at the retail level. Now, it is measured by the Office of Economic Advisor under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry of the Government of India, and currently 2011-12 is currently taken as the base year. Now, the various components of it are primary articles, fuel and power, manufactured products, and it is published monthly, as I said, by the Office of the Economic Advisor. Now, why is it significant? Firstly, it helps in understanding the price trends at the production level. Secondly, it is used by the policymakers to gauge inflationary trends and adjust monetary policy. Lastly, it helps the businesses in planning pricing strategies and supply chain management. Now, what are the various limitations with respect to it? See, firstly, it excludes the services, making it less representative of overall inflation, and it is not consumer-centric, unlike CPI, which reflects the retail prices better. Now, moving on to the fourth article, it says that how life began on Earth has been a long-standing mystery, but according to a study, the process could have been kicked off simply with the crashing waterfalls and breaking waves that would have thrown up mists of water. So, the findings add another angle to the much disputed Miller-Urey hypothesis, which argues that the life on Earth emerged from a lightning strike. So, what is this Miller-Urey hypothesis? See, it is one of the most well-known theories for the origin of life on Earth. In 1952, chemist Stanley Miller and the physicist Harold Urey conducted a landmark experiment that suggested life could have originated from simple chemicals present only on Earth. So, the hypothesis proposes that in the early stages of Earth's formation, there was a mixture of inorganic gases such as methane, ammonia, and hydrogen in the atmosphere. So, according to the theory, a lightning strike could have caused chemical reactions between these gases, leading to the formation of organic components such as amino acids, which are the building blocks of life. Furthermore, the experiment involved applying electrical sparks to a mixture of water and these gases, successfully producing organic molecules, particularly amino acids, which are essential for life. So, if we have to revisit the origins of life, a recent study titled Spraying of Water Microdroplets Forms Luminescence and Causes Chemical Reactions in Surrounding Gas, published in the Science Advances, adds a new dimension to the debate over the origin of life. The study challenges the Miller-Urey hypothesis by suggesting that the water sprays, rather than the lightning, could have played a significant role in the formation of organic compounds essential for life. So the key findings of the new study are, firstly, unlike the rare and sporadic lightning strikes described in the Miller-Urey hypothesis, water droplets, which are the ubiquitous in nature, are suggested as more likely trigger to the formation of life. Furthermore, when these oppositely charged droplets move close together, tiny sparks referred to as micro-lightning can form between them. So this mimics the process that occurs during the lightning formation in clouds. This micro-lightning is enough to generate organic compounds like glycine, hydrocyanide, and uracil. So on early Earth, water sprays would have been abundant from crashing waves, waterfalls, and even the spray from rock formations. So, according to the Richard Zarr, who is a chemist from Stanford University and studies lead researcher, water sprays everywhere, making them a far more likely source for initiating life as opposed to the rare lightning strikes. So the next article here is from the PIB, talks about docking and undocking and its significance for India's space ambitions. So what is the space docking? See, space docking is a complex process where two fast-moving spacecraft are brought into the same orbit, progressively moving closer and then connected together. So this capability is essential for the future space exploration, particularly for assembling large spacecraft in orbit, delivering astronauts and supplies to the space stations and enabling interplanetary missions. So the space docking allows for the assembly of large structures such as the International Space Station, which was built in parts and assembled in spades. So What is the technological innovation with respect to this? See, the ISRO's docking system is androgynous, meaning both the chaser and the target spacecraft are is designed similar to the one used in the International Space Station, but with fewer motors. This innovation showcases India's self-reliance in developing complex space systems. So, after docking, ISRO successfully demonstrated the power sharing capabilities between the two spacecraft, effectively controlling them as a single entity, which is a crucial step for space operations. Now, what is the significance of undocking? See, following the docking, ISRO carried out the undocking procedure, which was completed after 2 months of extensive ground simulations. So, the procedure went off without any issues, proving India's ability to control the spacecraft autonomously in space. So, this demonstration of autonomous docking and undocking is vital for the future space missions such as lunar exploration and building space stations. Now, why does this matter? See, the spacecraft and large structures often cannot be launched in one piece due to limitations. So, docking allows for assembly of stations and larger structures in space. Secondly, as the India aims for more ambitious space goals, including setting up its own space station by 2035 and sending humans to the moon by 2040, the ability to rendezvous, dock and undock spacecraft becomes very critical. And lastly, the docking and unlocking process is also essential for the transportation of astronauts from the to and from the space stations. Now, moving on to the next article, it says that driven by a steep 30% decline in petroleum exports to Europe and an over 60% decline in gold imports, India's merchandise trade deficit plummeted to a 3-year low of $14.5 billion in February, according to the data released by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry on Monday. In this context, we'll talk about the trade deficit. See, a trade deficit occurs when a country's imports exceed the exports over a certain period. So, it reflects a negative balance of trade, indicating that the value of goods and services a country buys from other nations is greater than what it sells abroad. So, the trade deficit can be assessed in various categories of transactions, such as goods, services, or both. So, it can also be analyzed in terms of broader international transactions, including the current account, capital account, and financial account. Now, talking about the key takeaways with respect to trade deficit. So, as I said, a country's imports are greater than its exports, then it's called a trade deficit. So, it is measured across various categories such as the goods, services, and goods and services. But the impacts of these factors depend on factors like national security, job creation, and financing mechanisms used to sustain the deficit. But you have to know that trade deficits can often be short-term or long-term with different economic implications. Now, moving on to the next article, it says that Union Finance Minister and Corporate Affairs Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has called on more companies to participate in the PM internship scheme, citing larger national interest. In this context, we'll talk about the Prime Minister's internship scheme. See, the PM internship scheme was introduced as part of Union Budget 2024-25 with the objective of providing internship opportunities to 1 crore youth in the top 500 companies over 5 years. So, this scheme aims to bridge the gap between the academic learning and industry expectations by offering practical on-the-job experience to the young individuals. Looking at its key features, see, it is a 12-month paid internships in the top companies across India, where the monthly financial support of 5,000 with an additional one-time grant of 6,000 rupees for miscellaneous expenses is given. And the focus is on youth aged between 21 to 24. Then, with respect to the progress, the pilot phase started in October 2024, offering 1.25 lakh internship opportunities over 745 districts. And the second round includes 37,000 opportunities for graduates, 23,000 for ITI holders, and roles across sales and marketing, technical jobs, and more. Now, what is the main objective of it? See, it is mainly about empowering the youth with skills and training within real-time business environments. Furthermore, it is about enhancing the employability by providing industry-relevant experience. Furthermore, the promoting local talent and preparing youth for future job opportunities. Now, moving on to the next article. Next article says that the Justice Joy Malia Bakshi has taken an oath as the Supreme Court judge. In this context, we'll talk about the various aspects related to it. See, the collegium system is a mechanism for the appointment and transfer of judges in the Supreme Court and High Courts. Though it is not explicitly mentioned in the Constitution, it evolved through judicial interpretations, and it is evolved through the first judges, second judges, and third judges case. So it was the third judges case which expanded the collegium, consisting of CJA and four senior-most Supreme Court judges. Now, what is the composition of the SC collegium? See, this collegium is headed by the Chief Justice of India, and it has four senior-most judges of Supreme Court as members. So this collegium recommends the names for the appointment and transfer of judges to the President of India. So the process or the basis for it is mentioned in the Article 124 Clause 2, where firstly the collegium selects and forwards the names to the Law Ministry based on merit, seniority and integrity. Then it sends the recommendations to the Prime Minister, who forwards them to the President of India. Then the President appoints the judges based on collegium recommendations, but can send back the names for reconsideration. But he has to accept it once it is reaffirmed. So moving on to talk about its qualifications. As per Article 124 Clause 3, so he must be a citizen of India, and he should have been a judge of a High Court for at least 5 years, or an advocate in a High Court for at least 10 years, and a distinguished jurist in the opinion of the President, which is rarely used. Now, moving on to talk about the tenure and removal. So, the tenure is still 65 years of age according to Article 124, and the impeachment process is carried out according to the Article 124 Clause 4. Know that it is initiated in the Parliament for proven misbehavior or incapacity and requires a special majority in both the houses. Now, moving on to the next article, it says that the Supreme Court on Monday decided to examine a plea challenging the sole prerogative of the centre, acting through the President, to appoint the Controller and Auditor General of India. In this context, we'll talk about various aspects related to CAG. See, the Controller and Auditor General of India is appointed by the President of India via warrant under his hand and seal. Note that the CAG can only be removed in the same manner on the same grounds as the Supreme Court judge. Note that before assuming the office, the CAG must take an oath of office in a form set out in the third schedule, either in the President or the designated official. So the salary and the conditions of service are determined by the Parliament and are specified in the second schedule until amended. So the salary and terms cannot be altered to the CAG's disadvantage after appointment. Furthermore, the CAG is not eligible for any further office under the Government of India or any state government after the retirement. So the conditions for the service personnel in the Indian Audit and Accounts Department are prescribed by the rules made by the President in consultation with the CAG. So the CAG's office expenses, including the salaries and pensions, are charged to the Consolidated Fund of India. But then with respect to Article 149, the CAG performs duties and exercise powers related to accounts of union, states and other authorities or bodies as prescribed by the Parliament, and until the Parliament makes laws to define these duties and powers, the CAG retains the duties and powers of the Auditor General of India as exercised prior to the commencement of the Constitution. Then, according to Article 150, the accounts of the Union and States are maintained in the format prescribed by the President based on the advice of the CAG. Now, moving on to the last article of the day, it talks about the cheetah and Project Cheetah. See, the cheetah is a fast-running big cat where there are two types, African and Asian, and these live in three main groups, where the female with cubs, male coalitions, and solitary males. Know that they hunt during the day, preferring the dawn and dusk. So, with respect to IUCN status, they are vulnerable globally, and the Asiatic cheetah, whichever is there, are critically endangered. Now, moving on to talk about the Project Cheetah. See, the Cheetah Reintroduction Project in India formally commenced on September 17th of 2022 to restore the population of cheetahs, which was declared extinct in the country in the year 1952. So, it involves the translocation of cheetahs from South Africa and Namibia to Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. Know that this project is implemented by the National Tiger Conservation Authority and in collaboration with the Madhya Pradesh Forest Department, Wildlife Institute of India and cheetah experts from Namibia and South Africa. Now moving on to talk about the objectives of Project Cheetah. Firstly, to restore the ecological role of cheetahs in India's ecosystem. Secondly, to promote conservation efforts for the cheetahs globally. And lastly, to contribute to the national biodiversity and habitat conservation. Now moving on to talk about the Kuno National Park. So it is in the Shiopur district of Madhya Pradesh and is nestled near the Vindhyan Hills. Know that it is named after the Kuno river which cuts across it, and it is a tributary of the Chambal river. So initially established as a wildlife sanctuary, it was only in 2018 that the government changed its status to National Park. So it is selected under the National Action Plan for the introduction of cheetah in India, and it is a deemed habitat parallel to Masai Mara National Park in Kenya, suitable for the cheetahs. So in this video we have discussed 10 articles in total for today. We'll be back again with another video tomorrow. Thank you.